handing down a ruling against a local doctor who wants to prescribe ivermectin for his COVID patients.
Dr. Paul Merrick asked for a temporary injunction that his employer, Sentara Healthcare, allowed him to prescribe the meds. But within the last hour, the judge said no to that request.
It is the latest detail in a story that News 3 Investigates has been following for months. Now, as we reported last night, Sentara suspended Dr. Merrick for 14 days.
And our Brendan Ponton joins us now to explain what's next in this.
Well, I just got a copy here of the ruling here just moments ago from Merrick's attorney. The judge ruling against Merrick's attempt to immediately be able to prescribe ivermectin and other drugs to COVID patients. But on top of that, as you mentioned, Merrick's attorney says Merrick is suspended from his hospital privileges. Dr. Paul Merrick walked into court in Norfolk last week to applause from supporters. But just 2 days later, when he walked into work at Sentara Norfolk, he found out he'd been suspended. Merrick's attorney tells News 3 he found a letter on his desk informing him his hospital privileges were temporarily suspended for 14 days. The attorney says for legal reasons, he's not able to share the reason Sentara gave Merrick for the suspension. And today, Sentara also declined to elaborate or confirm, saying in a statement, quote, in accordance with applicable state statutes and consistent with hospital policies, we cannot comment on any medical staff proceedings. We will continue to remain focused on providing excellent patient care. Merrick has been locked in a legal battle against Sentara Healthcare. He's the director of the hospital's critical care unit and a professor at Eastern Virginia Medical School. He believes he should be able to prescribe the anti-parasitic drug ivermectin to COVID-19 patients. But Sentara forbids the drug from being prescribed to COVID patients unless they're part of a clinical trial. That follows the guidance of the FDA and CDC, who do not recommend ivermectin be used to treat COVID patients. Merrick is suing and last week took the hospital to court to give him the power to prescribe it.
And I was there to save their life, and as the physician, you do whatever you can to save the patient's life.
Merrick says he has actually never prescribed any patient's ivermectin. His attorney says he's relied on studies and research to come to the conclusion it could be an effective tool to fight COVID-19. A paper he co-authored for a medical journal about the benefits of his treatment plan, which includes several drugs, was retracted due to concerns about the accuracy of the data. Several studies remain ongoing into whether or not ivermectin is actually an effective treatment. A recent interim review of a trial going on through the National Institutes of Health found no overly beneficial impact, but the trial is still continuing. A defiant Merrick says the case is all about a patient and their doctor.
It's the physician who's at the bedside. I'm responsible for the patient. I'm responsible for the patient who's dying.
All right, so this is a fluid story. This ruling just happening. What comes next?
Well, there's a lot of moving parts right now, but I did just get an update from Merrick's attorney saying in a statement that they are disappointed about all of this, but saying that their case is alive and well and saying, quote, we expect to ultimately succeed on the merits of our case at trial. So while this ruling today, not good for Paul Merrick, it will move forward, though, into the future trial likely next year.
All right. Brendan, thank you for this update.
All right, and News 3 investigators, of course, first broke this